So this has been a recurring topic, and a lot of people I've talked to, and except notice on the Glock that you showed no optics on it. So where's your stance on pistol optics right now?
Oh, okay. Well, that's funny because when Amy and Ernest wanted me to test this at Langdon Tactical, they said, do you want an optics ready Glock or do you just want a regular one? And I said, just give me a regular one because it's what most law enforcement officers have. So I'm very big on irons because I feel like we're between 10 and 20 years away from optics being very commonplace in law enforcement. Now, special units like SWAT teams and some sort of more evolved police agencies, even some federal agencies, have optics at this point. But I still think for a majority of our law enforcement agencies, municipal, small towns and cities, state agencies, I think it's going to be a long time before we have red dots. And it's a cost thing. It's a training thing, and it's a maintenance thing. If the average officer is cleaning their gun once every 2 years or something crazy, how often are they going to be checking that their pistol red dot is functioning, zeroed, the screws haven't come loose? So I guess from a government perspective, like that's where I'm at on it. I prefer irons because most of my students and the people I teach have irons. Now, red dots are the wave of the future. I personally love them just as much, if not more than irons, especially because I have aging eyes. So the red dot's definitely more instinctive and easier to use. But I definitely, I think I lean toward irons just because of my clientele and the students that I work with.
I was going to say, like, so for me, like, I'm kind of in this interesting position where I got to experiment with it. So this is, back to a lot of the projects, CZ P10F. I've become a big CZ fan. It's not like a sponsorship thing. I just like what they do. And I put the Holosun 507 with the ACSS Vulcan in here. It's a really nifty setup, but I would be lying if I said I think I'm actually like faster with this, and I think I'm still faster with irons. I've got so much time practicing and instinctually just popping it out. And like with my other pistols, I can practically point it to the wall like this and then look, and my sights are pretty close. Whereas with this, I'm not there yet. At distance, this is incredible. Like when you want to group at 25 yards, I would love having this, every day and twice on Sunday. But my speed to first shot accurately is still not quite there with this yet.
Oh, it's so funny. So one of the best shooters I know, I watch him and he'll bring out the red dot. And once he gets it, like once he finds the dot, unstoppable, right? But he refuses to put in the work dry practicing. And so, the only thing I can really tell him with the red dot is keep your head up, dude. If you try to dip your head down like you do with irons, like you're gonna lose it. Scott Jedlinski, Modern Samurai Project, is hands down he teaches the best instructor development class I've ever taken, and it's all centered around red dots. And he has a very specific technique where, he encourages the shooter to drop the dot in from 12 o'clock, which is kind of opposite of what we learned, in the 90s and the 2000s. Like the most efficient draw path is straight to the target. You're not bowing, so like bringing the gun up from underneath, or fishing, throwing it down, throwing the sight down onto the target like a fishing pole. But Scott encourages you to some degree, not fish into the target, but drop the dot in from 12 o'clock by putting a lot of pinky pressure. When you get to full extension, it sort of drops it in. So if anybody, if he comes to your town, or you have a chance to take to that class, or look at any of Scott's online content on red dots, I highly encourage it. But I'm sort of the same as you. Like if I'm gonna do a red dot class, teach a red dot class, or I'm going to take the red dot for whatever reason, get crazy and sign up for Carry Optics that day, I've got to do dry practice. And you're right, it's that first shot. The hardest thing ever for you guys, anybody new to dots, practice it, and practice with your left hand, because your support hand. So if you're left hand, your right hand, practice with your support hand, because there's nothing more frustrating than putting the gun out with your left hand and not being able to find the dot.
Yeah, and I do think that's where the reticle in this, which has, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, has that ring that goes on.
Oh, you
You can
have
see it.
the ring, and then can you
Yeah.
click it and make it just the dot too?
Yeah. So it has a ring
Oh,
around. There it is. So it has a ring. Now the camera makes us look a lot smaller than it is because when you're actually holding this at arm's length in a correct side picture, you don't see the ring. You just see the chevron in the middle.
ah,
The ring exists that if you go out and your side picture wasn't perfect, you see the edge of the circle, and
oh,
that tells you, oh, I need to go fish that way a little bit, and it
oh.
coaches you into it.
So what I do, I have suppressor height sights on all of my
Mhm.
guns. So if I
Oh
can't find
wow.
the dot, I go right back to the front sight. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, there we are. But a lot of people don't care to have the suppressor height sights on there. They think they get in the way. It drives them crazy. I love that Holosun 507. I've got the V2, I think. And for my money, I don't get better peace of mind than with that dual power source. I've got, RMR, Delta Point, I've got the
Mhm.
SRO, but I always go back to the Holosun because if something can go wrong with my gear, it does. It always does. So yeah, for the price point, I think those other optics companies need to watch out for Holosun.
Yeah, they're definitely. I think they're pushing a lot of limits and doing great stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, not to do right down their hole. I'm still learning how to shoot this one well. But it's been a fun learning curve. But
Yeah, man, if you ever get a chance, I don't know if you've shot with Scott Jedlinski before, but I would reach out and see if he's coming to your area, and that would be a great write up for you. I think he's just there's not very many trainers as a trainer that do such an efficient job with 2 days
mhm.
and without the ego. It's not, you're not listening to Scott talk for 2 days. You're shooting or you're coaching somebody else shoot. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. That's the best class. That is the best firearms class I've ever taken, was Scott's instructor development class.